Joining us now to talk about the effects of the halving on all things crypto is our resident Bitcoin aficionado, Brian Kelly. It's great to have you here.
Good to be here.
What do you expect? Are we going to see another 450% rise after this halving, or does the effect sort of dissipate each time?
So I think it's certainly the halving effect is going to dissipate. If you talk about how many dollars into the market this is, you're talking about last week it was about $60 million a day of sell pressure. That's now cut in half to $30 million a day. But you're talking about $1 trillion market. So it's very, very small. So I think if anything, it's going to be the psychological impact of it and the fact that we're all saying, hey, look at this 4-year cycle that we have out there. Probably what's more important, though, is when you get to see some of these bigger brokerage firms come online. So Morgan Stanley, UBS, once they are online and they can have their customers start come into Bitcoin, that's a lot of pent-up demand.
What about with the ETFs? How does that change the game now? Because last halving, we didn't have ETFs.
That's right. And I think actually it changes tremendously. That's why Morgan Stanley and UBS are so important, because up to this point, they have not been able to buy those ETFs. Their clients haven't been able to buy it. So if you think about it, you now have has an asset with the most demand it's ever going to have, right? You've got all these people just able to come on, and supply has been cut. Coins on exchange are down, so you're having a whole bunch of pent-up and potential demand hitting lower supply. To me, that's the bullish setup for Bitcoin.
We had a segment on earlier where we were talking about gold. Do you think Bitcoin will ever be a safe haven type asset?
I think eventually it could be, but I think we're talking 10 to 20 years down the road.
Okay.
I mean, it is still in the early stages of acceleration here.
What did geopolitics, what kind of impact does that have on the price of Bitcoin?
So it's had a positive impact until the last weekend, frankly, right? So Bitcoin was correlated very highly with gold. Anytime you'd have a geopolitical hiccup, you'd see Bitcoin catch a bid. Although over the weekend, when we saw the Israel-Iran attacks, we saw Bitcoin dump. And I think it's kind of trying to figure out what its personality is his. And as it gets more ingrained into the financial system and there's more different type of traders, it's going to start to get correlated to other markets.
It's interesting. It's great to have you on. My best to Brian Kelly, by the way. But I would have thought it's traded extraordinarily well. But as the amount of Fed rate cuts continues to come down, and maybe they're getting religion, should it be trading better or should it be trading worse? That's really what I'm trying to struggle with here. I mean, you can make an argument either way.
You could make an argument about it. I'll give you my argument on this. I think the Fed has told us that they're going to tolerate higher levels of inflation to reduce the debt to GDP. What does that mean? That means that your buying power in your currency is going to go down. So your groceries are going up. You're just not going to have as much buying power. So to me, even if the Fed says, hey, as long as the Fed says we're not going to raise rates to 10% and really crush inflation, I think Bitcoin does well in the two scenarios that we're talking about. An even Fed or Fed rate cuts.
Beeks, what are some other ways that, some folks, I mean, now that these Bitcoin spot ETFs, that you can get that sort of exposure, you can buy it in an IRA if you want to, that sort of thing. What are some other ways that you're thinking about playing this? If you do take that 10 to 20 year view that it's going to be this ecosystem that's created, other than the ETF, other than buying Bitcoin straight out, what are some other things that, viewers should look at?
Yeah, so I would look at some of the other coins. So that would be Ethereum. Ethereum and Solana are probably the two that you could buy this cycle. Because those are going to be the ones that the new financial system's built on top of. So decentralized finance, you've heard about DeFi. Those are the two that are really in the lead for building that. You could also look towards the miners on that as well. Although the mining's a rough business. I mean, there's a lot of capital expenditure. You have to worry about electricity, but that's another way to kind of play the ecosystem.